Imagine a 14-year-old Jewish immigrant boy. After losing his father, leaving his mother behind, traveling across 7 seas to reach America. No degree, no connections, but in his heart, just one dream: to prove himself and do something big. At the chaotic ports, amidst the crowds, the noise, the chaos, where big merchants were throwing away overripe fruits, ignoring them completely, that boy saw an opportunity, and in just a few years, he took control of railway networks, built his own shipping fleet, bought hundreds of acres of land. In the middle of tropical jungles, he built entire new cities, negotiated with governments, and entire cities started operating according to his business model. This is the story of Sam Zemurray, a poor immigrant boy who started his journey with rejected fruits and slowly took control of Central America's future. Sam Zemurray was born in 1877 in a small village in western Russia. His father was a poor farmer, his mother a housewife. Sam grew up in a simple, traditional home. When Sam was just 10 years old, his father passed away. After his father's death, the family's financial situation became terrible. The family couldn't survive just by working in the fields. Survival became a daily struggle. At this young age, Sam decided he had to escape this situation, and he knew only one way to change his destiny: America. His distant uncle lived in America, running a small grocery store. Sam decided he would go to America. At just 14 years old, with the determination to change his fate, Sam left behind his land, his childhood, and his mother. Whatever money they had at home, he collected it all, bought a one-way ticket to America, and boarded the ship. The ocean journey was about 15 days long. During this time, his heart ached for his mother again and again, but at the same time, there was hope in his mind that maybe this risk could free him from all these troubles in his life. When Sam reached America, he had no money, no place to stay. In his pocket was just a piece of paper with his uncle's address written on it. At just 14 years old, he was completely alone in a country where he didn't know the language, didn't know anyone who could help him. Sometimes people couldn't understand what he was saying. Sometimes they understood, but pretended not to. But Sam never gave up. He was just a child, but his intentions were rock solid. Sam somehow found his uncle. That's where his first arrangement for food and shelter was made. But now he had to find work too. So Sam started doing helper jobs at small shops or warehouses. But Sam knew this was just temporary support. He never sat idle for even a moment. But Sam had one quality. He was extremely observant. He noticed every small thing happening around him very carefully. He listened to every conversation attentively, talked to customers, went to suppliers, and tried to understand how a small business actually works. What do people want? What are their needs? Every conversation, every question was a lesson, and Sam absorbed everything. He started doing all kinds of work, cleaning floors, door-to-door deliveries. He was saving every penny carefully so that when any opportunity came his way, he would be completely ready. And then the opportunity came. The year was 1893. It had been 2 years since Sam came to America. He was now 16 years old. Walking on a busy street in Alabama, he saw bananas at a fruit stall for the first time in his life. Bananas were still an exotic fruit even at the end of the 19th century. Sam got curious. He approached the stall and started asking all sorts of questions to the vendor. But Sam had no idea that one day, this very banana would change his life, along with the life of an entire continent, forever. Among his daily tasks, Sam realized one day that his life would never change with these small jobs. If he really wanted to do something big, he had to go where thousands, millions of dollars worth of goods were bought and sold every day. After some thought, Sam decided to take a train to Mobile, Alabama. It was about 230 kilometers away, a busy port where fruits from all over Central America were unloaded from ships. When he got there, his mind was blown. The banana, which was considered an exotic fruit, thousands of ripe bananas were being thrown away as waste. Sam felt very sad for a second. He remembered his childhood days when he and his mother would spend days eating just one meal. At this moment, Sam made a decision. What if he bought these bananas and sold them to those in need at a low price? Could he make money from this? His plan was simple. Buy a whole stock of bananas with whatever little money he had, and then resell them in nearby cities. At first glance, this strategy seemed quite simple, but things weren't as simple as Sam thought. The next day, when Sam returned with money, cargo ships were arriving from around the world with products, merchants, traders, street vendors. With every shipment, the race of bargaining and reselling began. Everyone was looking for an opportunity. Sam's plan was simple. First, observe everything. Understand how this entire system works. Meanwhile, something caught Sam's attention. When a massive ship slowly arrived at the dock, it had an emblem that read, United Fruit Company. This was the same company that dominated the banana market at that time and imported tons of fruits from Central America and the Caribbean region. Sam was mesmerized watching this. As soon as the ship docked, dozens of workers without any cranes or heavy machinery climbed onto the ship and started unloading thousands of banana bunches by hand. But in all this rush, Sam noticed one detail. After the cargo was unloaded, the United Fruit people started separating the bananas into different categories. Here, these fruits were being divided into 3 separate piles. The first pile had completely green bananas that stayed fresh the longest and had the highest value. These were loaded directly into train cars and sent across the country. The second pile had yellow bananas that had started ripening a bit. These couldn't last as long as green bananas, so they were sold to local and small traders at a discount. And then came the third pile, the pile nobody wanted, those that had some dark spots on them. This batch was still perfect for eating, but not for transport. And for the company, this was just waste. In every shipment, about 15% of the stock would get overripe like this, after which they would be thrown away. For Sam, this was a golden opportunity. The $50 he had saved from years of small jobs, he invested it all in one idea. He bet his years of hard work on just this belief that this idea could change his life. $50 would be around $1,700 in today's money. Now, when most of the green and yellow bananas were already loaded, Sam approached the company's employees and offered to buy all these ripe bananas. For the company, this approach was quite unusual. Standing in front of them was a 16-year-old boy who couldn't even speak English properly. And what he was proposing was even more shocking. He wanted to buy thousands of bananas. Those bananas that nobody wanted. For the company, this was a perfect deal. They always wanted to do something with these ripe bananas. So when they heard Sam's proposal, especially the price he suggested, they finalized the deal with Sam without much thought. In theory, this deal was good, but in real life, things work very differently. Sam was literally going to race against time. If he couldn't sell all this stock quickly, he could face heavy losses. The next day, Sam boarded the train with all this stock. He was excited. He had calculated all the numbers. But here, the real problem was about to come. The train was moving much slower than Sam's expectations. At every few stations, the locomotive pilot would stop for no reason, sometimes to load new goods on the train, sometimes for driver change, sometimes waiting for track clearance. Sometimes trains would stand in one place for hours. And then Sam understood why other traders ignored these bananas. Just a few hours of delay was enough to ruin an entire batch. The color of the bananas he had bought was now slowly changing before his eyes. Sam realized that if he kept waiting for the destination, he wouldn't be able to sell this stock at all. In this desperate moment, Sam made a decision that would change his life forever. Sam got off the train and went to the Western Union agency. He explained his situation to the telegraph operator there and made an unusual request. He asked him to send a message to all local merchants, street vendors, and grocery stores at the next station that a cheap banana shipment was coming their way, and he would get commission on whatever sold. And the biggest twist, this plan worked. At the next few stations, as soon as the train stopped, Sam started seeing crowds of buyers on the platform. Local merchants, street vendors, and small traders were standing in line to buy the ripe bananas. The price was low, so sales were happening quickly too. But time was still slipping away. Somehow, for the next week, the train kept stopping at stations and Sam's goods kept selling. After a week, when the train reached its final stop, Sam had sold the entire load. And after selling all the goods on this trip, he now had a total of $190 left in his pocket. When Sam calculated, he saw that he had made a $50 profit. In today's terms, Sam had earned about $1,700. And more important than money was that Sam had gotten proof that his idea worked. His first business had been successful, and most importantly, he had found a gap in the market that no one else was exploiting. where all the big companies and traders were competing with their complex systems, distribution networks, and high margins for green bananas, Sam was targeting the least demanded fruits and making good profit. Sam wasn't going to stop now. After a few weeks, Sam repeated the same process again, this time with an even bigger stock and more speed. Sam had successfully sold his entire stock. This is where the foundation of a business was being prepared that would become so big that it would shake government thrones. Sam now kept repeating this process every day without thinking twice, from one city to another, carrying thousands of kilos of ripe fruits with him. New challenges, always a race against time. Each time, Sam was becoming faster and more efficient, and within just a few months, Sam had systematically arranged this entire process: how much goods to buy, where to sell, and to whom to sell. Slowly, people were noticing him, but Sam didn't stop here. He decided to improve his strategy further. Sam was now making sales worth lakhs every day, and by 1903, this number had reached crores. But in this same year, something unexpected happened. The first big challenge of his life was about to come. Sam had flooded the entire market with low-quality bananas, which was affecting the demand for United Fruit's premium bananas. At the Alabama port, Sam had now become the biggest buyer. He would almost daily pick up ripe and rejected bananas from United Fruit and other companies in bulk, paid everyone in cash. He had built good understanding with dock managers, shipping agents, local United Fruit staff. But this very speed of Sam was bothering the United Fruit Company, and they slowly started putting pressure on Sam. He was being slowly sidelined in everything. His shipments were delayed. Some days he was given half the supply of his demand. Sometimes he was sent back empty-handed. Sometimes United Fruit Company itself was dumping thousands of crates in the market at prices lower than market prices, which was completely eliminating the profit margin of traders like Sam. After seeing all these things, Sam understood that he now had to take control of this entire system. And at this very time, Sam was going to take another bold step. He decided to import bananas directly, but the challenges would be just as big. He would have to deal with foreign producers, buy fertile land, and most importantly, buy his own ships to bring fruits to the port. And for this, he would also need heavy upfront investment. At this very time, Ashbel Hubbard entered Sam's life, an investor who was ready to bet money on Sam's talent. Together, they bought a small shipping fleet, bought a company named Cayamel Fruit Company. This company had more than 100 acres of land that was perfect for growing bananas. Sam's plan was simple: grow plants on his own land. After that, make direct deals with local producers and sell tons of bananas directly to the U.S. export market. But the most shocking thing was that United Fruit Company offered to invest money in Sam's new business, knowing that Sam could become their direct competitor in the future. A partnership between a small trader and the biggest name in the entire industry didn't make sense to anyone. But United Fruit Company got a 10% stake in Sam's business. And in return, Sam was getting the money he needed. Sam was now going to take everything from plantation to shipment into his own hands. With this thought, Sam made the boldest decision of his life. He left the comfort of American ports and went straight to live in the jungles of Central America. There was no ready-made farm here, just jungle all around, heat, and the danger of terrible diseases like malaria. As soon as he arrived here, Sam first started touring this entire area, sometimes on horseback, sometimes walking. Sam checked the soil here, understood the river flow well, villages, forests, plantations. He had to see and understand the ground reality himself. He first met influential people here personally, government officials, local power brokers. A little money in the right place opened many doors for Sam, and he started buying very cheap lands. Sam knew that the soil here was perfect for growing bananas, and his farmer background was helping him. Then, the real journey began. Hundreds of workers were hired, jungles were cleared, and plantations were set up. Conditions were very difficult: poisonous snakes, scorpions, mosquitoes. But Sam wasn't one of those people who sat in an office. He worked in the fields alongside the workers, cleared trails, planted seeds, which made the people there respect him. Sam also built a small village for his workers. A new settlement stood in the middle of the jungle. And in just these few years, Sam's practical knowledge had become much deeper than his competitors who just read reports. He understood bananas from every angle, from plantation to shipment. Sam's deals were now so strong that his bananas were selling at the same prices as United Fruit, the industry's biggest joint. But Sam wasn't going to stop here. He was thinking of buying more land. But one problem was that he was already drowning in very heavy debt. Banks refused to give him more loans because the business was risky. Floods, drought, pests. Anything could ruin the harvest. Still, Sam felt this was going to be a turning point in his life, so he sent a message to his U.S. partner. Sam was getting several acres of land at very good rates, and he had to acquire that land before United Fruit Company found out. But Sam's partner didn't agree. He wanted to settle debts first. Here, both their thinking was completely opposite, which led to clashes between both partners for the first time. Then Sam made an unusual proposal. He bought his partner's company shares and kicked him out of the company. And this money Sam had raised from the underworld at interest rates up to 50%. The decision was very risky. Sam was now 90% owner of the company. The remaining 10% was with United Fruit. But decision-making was now completely in Sam's hands. He had bet everything, whatever money he had, and whatever he didn't have. Everything. Either he would build an empire here, or he would be crushed under his own ambition. Sam was now going to enter a phase where business would no longer just be business. The path ahead was going to take him to a place he hadn't even dreamed of. From here, the game wasn't going to involve just companies. Governments, politicians, and even the underworld were going to be involved. This journey that started with selling bananas was now going to shake governments. In Part 2, we'll see how Sam's built empire overturned the politics, coups, dictatorships, and entire power structure of Central America.